Hello and welcome to another exciting episode of The Aftermath. My name is Ian, and as always, I'm joined by Dylan.
Got jury duty.
And at this point, we have Chase once again, but this time on an actual episode where we watch a movie.
Indeed.
And I'm excited. I'm not sure. Do you want to say something as your intro?
Let's say it's Judge Chase.
Oh, sorry, Judge Chase. I don't know if you did this on purpose or not, but me, as a big fan of Helldivers 2, the recent war bond that released is kind of police officer themed.
Mm-hmm.
There's a lot of police type, like stun based weapons and a lot of cool armor that's very much in that same sphere. And the badge is very cool. It's really, really cool. In the Superstore, they have an armor set that's like heavy armor, and it's heavily Judge Dredd inspired.
Oh,
and
yeah.
even the sidearm that you get. Now that I've watched this movie, by the way, we're watching Dredd. I see the inspiration now fully. I thought it was very reminiscent, but now having seen the movie, I'm like, oh, this was like definitely. So I didn't know if that was if you picked this on purpose because
wasn't necessarily. It just kind of.
Okay.
I think you just pulled it out.
Yeah.
Because I've been talking about it like occasionally. Like the weapon is actually really good in the game. The armor set's actually really cool. Like I said, the badge you get is a little bit like inspired by, I think, the badge that's on your armor is kind of inspired, or like, at least it looks like it's heavily referenced by like at least the shape of like it's kind of an interesting like kind of diamond shaped or whatever.
Right.
Anyways, it's cool. And so whenever he pulled this out, I was like, oh shit, is this like because I've been talking about the idea of Dredd because I've seen the character like the obviously kind of like the interesting like cross M shaped
the forever scowl.
Exactly, the forever scowl helmet. And,
Actually, speaking of the badge, would it be cool if you could get your name embroidered on one of those?
I'm sure you can.
Probably.
People have done custom jobs for different badges before, I'm sure.
Yeah. But this one is, I thought that there was an older film.
There is.
It's Judge Dredd, though. This one's just called Dredd. I was confused.
It was the reboot.
Exactly.
When did the first one come out?
1995. And I have not seen that one at all.
Neither have I.
But I can imagine it being
in
days. One of these days, we'll probably get to it. I know it's probably a shame that we watched this one and not the original. There's probably some. I don't mind, but there's probably somebody out there that's like, "How dare you not watch the original?"
Right, the Stallone classic.
Okay,
cannot be.
Was that who Judge Dredd was originally?
Yes.
Oh, dude, I was gonna say this film is scratching that itch of like modern classic action movie. You got action, you got blood, you got guns, you got all like
graphic would be an understatement.
100%.
Do not shy away from the gore.
And we'll get into that later. But I didn't know. I didn't know that the original 1995 Judge Dredd stars Sylvester Stallone, and now I have to watch it.
Oh yeah,
because some of my favorite action movies have been Sylvester Stallone.
Oh yeah,
I think of
Cobra.
Oh my God, Cobra! It's been so long since we watched Cobra, and I want to watch it again.
Yeah.
Which one of the was it? The first. Sorry, the
First Blood.
Yes, Rambo.
Yeah.
First Blood is what I was thinking of. But I was thinking another one that in that same vein was Predator, but Predator was Arnold Schwarzenegger.
Right.
And that's what I was thinking. I got the two mixed up. But regardless, the golden age of action movies in that time span. And watching this had a nice modern flair, and I thought it was really good. If you can't tell, I really enjoyed this movie.
Oh yeah. It's a fun watch.
This movie came out in 2012.
How long was it anyways?
It was an hour and 35 minutes, so not bad.
Pretty short.
Okay. I was going to say it felt a little short.
Yeah.
But it was actually the same length as the original. The original is also an hour and 35 minutes.
Nice.
A really nice cast.
Yeah.
I have always loved Karl Urban, who's the guy who played Judge Dredd.
Yeah.
He plays a character, I can't remember his name, in The Boys. That was kind of one of the major things I think he's probably known for recently.
Was it?
Yeah.
Probably. I don't remember. Funny enough, he also played in Lord of the Rings. I didn't know this until way later on because he looks a lot younger in that film for obvious reasons of being 20-something years ago. But I think he plays Theoden. No, not Theoden. Faramir. I can't remember. He plays one of like
One
the
of the brothers,
one of the
yeah.
one of the Rohirrim. And I remember seeing a clip, and I was like, "Yo, is that Karl Urban?" And I was like,
Yeah.
"I shit, I forgot."
Show
Yeah. So,
I did
anyways,
see a meme, and it was movies that you probably seen him in but didn't know he was in.
yes,
Right.
Yeah.
precisely. And that's
They
what
got him tucked away
exactly.
everywhere.
But the every time I see him though, I'm always like, I love I love that guy.
Very multifaceted career.
He'd be the perfect Agent 47.
Yeah.
Really.
Technically, with
With
how he's
many
able
roles
to
he's played,
switch his
yeah.
disguises.
Okay, I guess you're right. Yeah.
Disguises. He's acting, Chase.
It could be called a
They're not
disguise. They're not real.
That's what they want you to think.
Yeah.
Right.
He could fit into anything, into any role.
Mm-hmm.
I, like Dylan said earlier, this movie is graphic,
Oh yeah.
but in
Wears its beating heart on its sleeve.
oh my god! But I think I'm so jacked right now because it's been so long since I've watched like a real like fun,
Honest to goodness.
honest to
Straight up action movie.
100%.
Yeah.
At least for this show. Like I may have seen something else, but like even still, like I think in recent history, I can't remember a movie that has been so like gut punch in
Yeah.
your face, like, ooh, this is good.
Mm-hmm.
Especially like because this one's in like a, I don't want to say post-apocalyptic, but like
Oh,
in
definitely
in like a
dystopian.
not so distant future,
Yeah.
kind of mega city,
Right.
anyways, it's
The humanity has reached the level that it can now construct mega structures.
yes. And I don't know. It's fun.
Mhm.
It's fun, and it like from the very get-go, we get like
We get the opening monologue, the establishment of the setting,
yes,
Mega City 1.
yeah, and it's just, I feel like it's just enough,
Mhm.
and then we go right into the action, motorcycle chase scene,
Oh, yeah.
and it's like, oh shit, this is
We got
good.
crooks on the loose.
Yeah, they're all doing this drug that's like slowing down time for them.
Slow-mo.
Slow-mo.
Right.
Is that what it's called?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, that's what I was thinking.
Now, it should be noted, at this point in time, this Mega City 1 is an absolute hive
Yeah.
of wretchedness
Oh,
and
it's
villainy.
yeah.
Rampant crime. It's absolute chaos and anarchy.
Yeah.
So, evidently, at one point or another, the local government, or maybe even national government,
Mhm.
has decided to forego the court entirely
Right.
because crime has become so rampant and commonplace that they just can't handle it.
Oh, right.
So they invest within specific officers the authority of the judge, jury, and executioner.
Yep. That's so cool.
It's absolutely insane.
Yeah.
And it's evidently one of the only major counters to this type of society
Right.
that it has devolved into.
Yes. Before we get too deep into like all the nitty gritty of all this, when I say this, I mean this is probably one of the only gripes I have.
Mhm.
Hollywood does not like full face helmets.
Oh, yeah.
They never have.
Yeah.
Anytime you ever have like any kind of something with a helmet, the actor will always take it off because they want the actor's face to be seen a lot of times.
Right.
Yeah.
A lot of times I think directors feel like they can't get the motion across, they can't get the emotion across. They feel like they can't. I think they also probably pay a shit ton of money for an actor, so they want their face to be seen. There's a lot of factors, but like the more and more you notice it, the more and more like anytime there's a full face helmet, within seconds they will always take it off or like chuck it to the side, like right off the get go.
The whole caveat with expressiveness not being able to be properly shown under a helmeted face is a fucking myth.
It's
bullshit.
It's bullshit, and that's what I'm saying. Is that the only
If you
thing?
got a high profile actor, I get it.
Right.
But all it would
Yes.
take is like one scene of downtime where it's appropriate
Yes.
for the actor to remove the helmet. But
Yes.
if they're like out in the field doing their duty,
Right.
it ain't coming off.
And that's what I'm saying. Is that I think that the reason I'm saying that is because like the thing that people always point to, at least in the modern age, is that The Mandalorian did a great job with like the main actor who was also a high priced actor. Never took his helmet off, and that was a character trait.
And
but
it worked.
And it worked. But I think it also helped that they had like a season's worth of a TV show to really like flush out the emotion. So like I'm being lenient. I understand.
Right.
I do like that Judge Dredd in this film never took his helmet off, so
Yeah.
it did feel like it was still like his character choice.
Yeah.
I just think that like the helmet design, I think would have been so cool if it was like a full face, like a full face helmet.
Oh,
That
yeah.
would, like it had like an enclosed face, and like you had like like I'm talking about real Master Chief moment.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
I think you could have had like Judge Dredd have been like the Master Chief, like walking up and saying those like sick ass one liners that he does
yeah, dude.
behind like a intercom voice kind of
yeah.
sound, like
Yeah.
like you know,
some kind
I
of
just
voice filter.
I just think it would have been so cool,
It
and
definitely would have been cool.
that would have been cool. And
I do appreciate that in this instance they stay true to the source material.
Exactly.
And that the judges almost never have like full face coverings.
yes.
And the trademark scowl.
Oh yeah. He always has a
you
frown.
cannot cover that shit up.
Right. And so I get it, and so I'm giving it credit where it's due, but there's just a little bit of like,
What would a full helmet look like?
right. And I think that like what would have been nice is like even if he was staunch on not taking his helmet off, I think it would have been nice that like you even saw it with Judge Anderson.
Yeah.
His the rookie companion in this
I think she only ever wore hers.
she wore it on the motorcycle
Okay,
ride
that's what
over
I was
there,
saying.
and then as they were getting off, she left it with the motorcycle.
Yeah.
He even makes a comment how he's like, "I would have been smart to keep your helmet," and she's like, "But it would have messed with my." So like there is like a quote unquote in universe like excuse or
Right.
you know
Yeah.
whatever a crutch that you want to give it to where she took her helmet off and kept it there. I think it would have been nice if she would have like kept it during like the fight scenes, but like taken it off during all like the conversational bits. So it is like
Yeah.
a back and forth.
Right.
Again, this is all just because of who I am and like the kind of I like a nice helmet. I'm a big fan of Clone Troopers, big fan of Master Chief.
Oh, well, for example,
I'm
the
a
Master
sucker-
Chief show, they kept taking his suit off.
I know,
and see,
and I know, and
We
that's
do
what I'm
not
saying.
talk about that.
We don't
Well,
talk
I was-
about that. But
I was
but
just going to say,
Sacrilege.
as an actor, I'd be like, you want me to do what? No, keep
well,
the suit on.
well,
That's because you're a fan, Chase. You
exactly.
know-
You
You've
understand.
played the games.
Yeah, that's true.
But this is what I'm talking about. Is like I love. There is something nice about having like a masked figure
Oh,
that
yeah.
is like the judge, the jury, and executioner. That's kind of cool. And I think
triple threat.
I think having some sort of like I do think that the helmet not being taken off is I like that. I like that they stuck with that, and it was really nice. But yeah, so that was the only thing that I think was the only kind of like catch that I was like, I don't mind it, but I also would have liked to have
Right.
seen a little something different.
Nice
But-
little what if.
yeah, especially with Anderson. Like that was
Yeah.
that's the big thing I was talking about was the fact that she felt like not fully
Right.
a
More
judge,
exposed.
which I guess could also work because she's still
Right.
technically
Under assessment.
under assessment. So I'm not knocking at any points. That's
Right.
if that's my half star I got to take off. That's what it's going to be. But that's
Right.
it. Other than that, such a fun movie.
Oh, yeah.
A fun movie in the action sense. It definitely is gory, and if you are
Squeamish.
if
in
you
any
are
way.
if you are
It's not going to be for the faint of heart.
yes, if you don't like I
Blood-
mean
blood,
wanton
bones,
bloodshed.
bones
oh,
crushing,
dude, yeah.
Dismemberment.
Yes. Then
Exploding limbs.
oh my
guy
god.
falling off a 52-story building.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
It's probably not for you, but if you would look at that kind of stuff and go, hell yeah, then this is definitely for you.
Yeah.
But as you were saying, we get done with this kind of this chasing.
Oh, yeah. So,
Say Chase.
right.
Mm.
Not you, Chase. This is a different Chase.
I see.
A deadly one.
A
We got-
deadly one.
Yeah, we got
There's-
3
Oh,
good
no.
druggies
Yes.
riding around town in a van,
Yep.
high off their asses on
Oh,
some
yeah.
slow-mo,
Yep.
just enjoying their drive until Mr. Dredd just happens to be on patrol
Yep.
performing his civic duty.
And may I say, dude, the bike is a cool design.
Oh, yeah.
It
is bulky.
It's a bit weird,
It's a statement.
but I love it. I think it's really cool and fun. I just think it's awesome.
Oh, yeah. Things look like it could bust through a wall, no
It
problem.
looks like a Harley Davidson chopper, but it has like a bunch of extra armor on it.
Yeah.
It's fun. Yeah.
Yeah, bonkers.
Yeah.
So as soon as he sees this, he sees that they're driving erratically and that they're under the influence, so he's immediately riding up on them.
Yeah.
And initially, he's just giving chase. Like, he's going to pull them over, give them their sentence, and be on his way.
Right. Like any other police officer would.
Right. But upon seeing a judge,
Mm-hmm.
a criminal's first reaction is, albeit appropriately, to just immediately open fire.
right.
Because because of the circumstances,
Yeah.
with everything being so dire, there is no room for any type of mercy or leniency in
Yeah.
any way, shape, or form.
If you're caught with
Even
having-
for a considerably minor offense, you will be like put under for at least 2 to 3 years minimum
right,
for most sentencing.
right,
But yeah, so obviously they don't want to be put in isolation,
of course.
so they open fucking fire.
They call them isopods,
Right.
which I think is kind of
Yeah.
interesting. Like, it's cool.
Yeah. So,
Yeah.
mid chase, they start busting out the gats.
Yeah.
Motherfucker unloads with an SMG, and he's like, "Okay, all right, fine, here we go."
Yep.
It's just, I don't think he returns fire initially
No, he does not.
until he sees them just straight up run over a dude
An innocent
and
civilian.
a civilian. Yes, he's like, "Okay, homicide."
He was jaywalking.
Now I got the right.
Yep.
So he busts out the gun.
Mm-hmm.
This thing.
Well, I think
is-
he has a motorcycle gun that he shoots the tires.
Oh,
out with.
right. He
Yeah.
takes them down first,
Yeah.
disables.
Yeah.
2 of them end up dead
Mhm.
after he rolls the fucking van that they're in. The other dude takes off running for his life.
Of course.
Ends up in some sort of food market, I
Right.
believe. Takes some poor woman hostage.
Mm-hmm. As well as like killing people along the way. So
Oh,
like,
definitely,
So like his homicide rate is like
He's
increasing.
going insane.
Yeah.
Right. Just killing people for no reason.
Mm-hmm.
So he takes this poor woman hostage.
Yes.
Has her at gunpoint, right up to her head.
Yeah.
And he stands still.
Yeah.
Worst possible consecutive mistake he could have made.
Yes.
So,
You're batting 1,000 here
oh yeah,
of bad mistakes.
You're putting your life in very small hands, bro.
Yeah.
So, as Mr. Dredd walks up,
Yeah.
he says, "Let's talk." And the crook ain't having it. He knows what he's about. So,
Yeah.
either you let me walk away with the lady and I'm scot free, or I blow her brains out right here and now.
Yeah.
And he's like, "Okay, whatever."
Right.
And he's like, "Excuse me."
Yeah.
I said I'd blow her fucking brains
Yeah,
out.
yeah.
It's like, "Oh, I heard you.
Yeah. Yeah.
I heard you, hot shot." First little
Yeah. A little taste of this
Oh,
gun.
yeah.
Yeah.
this sidearm that every judge carries just so happens to have differing ammo types depending on whatever situation they may be in.
Right.
Hot shot is
And they're
apparently
cued by vocal commands.
Oh, yes.
Which is super cool.
So he takes a gamble, throws out a hot shot round straight in the motherfucker's mouth. Head melts.
Melts his head.
Yep. You're done.
Damn.
The poor lady, upon watching this man
Yeah.
die right
His
in front of her,
head
is like,
melt. Yeah.
"Thank you, Judge. Please go away now."
sorry.
Yeah,
You're welcome, citizen.
exactly.
Crazy.
Because of how fucking like ruthless and uncompromising they are, even the general public is terrified of
Of
them.
course.
Even because if there's a single toe out of line, that they could be under threat.
Yeah. I can go to prison.
Right.
And I'm like, well,
Yeah.
hold on.
Or possibly worse.
Yeah, right. I was not an accomplice in any way. I was a hostage. I was an innocent bystander, I swear.
Right. So it's the kind of like authoritative, like end all be all type of conflict.
Yeah.
That this
Desperate
city-
times.
Oh,
Desperate. What is it? Desperate actions.
Desperate times, desperate measures.
Yeah, right, yeah.
It's more so a fire with fire and cut
Yes.
and dried conflict. I mean, this is how it is, and that's how it's going to be until things shape up.
Right.
Which,
Yeah.
as we might guess, may never happen.
Right. Well, because in the next scene, after all that takes place, we have a scene with, I guess like the police chief in some way, or I don't know what they're considered in this, the judge chief.
Right. Who knows?
Is standing there with Dredd, and there's like a woman behind like one of those like double one-way mirrors or whatever, and it's the,
Almost like an interrogation room.
exactly. And this is Anderson. This is the new rookie that he's going to be
Taken
looking
under his
after.
wing.
And as we see, like and we also get in this moment, we get the fact that she's
A mutant.
a mutant,
Mm-hmm.
and she can apparently read minds.
Oh, yeah. Straight up psychic.
Yeah. And so he's a bit leery, obviously, and he's a bit of he's Judge Dredd's a no nonsense kind of guy.
Oh, yeah.
Very to the books, and that's
You
what
either
it is.
make the grade or you're not a judge.
Exactly. And she technically on the exam or whatever failed by a few points.
Right.
And
3%.
And the chief is like, "Hey, it may be a failure, but like,
Right. You're going to oversee her final assessment.
right. And he's like,
See whether or not she
why
is
she
proper material.
why she failed, and she's like, well, hold on now. There's
Right.
there's some
She's got a second chance.
there's a benefits here. Just
Right. We don't want to let this one slip by. if
Yeah,
at
Yeah,
all
we're
possible.
losing a lot of us every day.
yeah.
Yeah.
But as they're walking out, and he's kind of giving her the rundown of like what her fail conditions are.
Right.
He basically says, what did he say? He's like, there's like 18,000 crimes that happen.
Right. Some astronomical
Yeah.
number
And
of
he's like,
crimes
we-
per minute.
Right, and we can only handle 6%.
Right.
And she's like, well, how do we choose? And he's like, that's your decision.
Right. You tell me.
Yeah, what are we doing?
Mm-hmm.
And it's like, oh, so like it's ramp, like you're saying.
Oh, yeah.
Desperate times, desperate measures.
They are
Yeah.
they are outnumbered and outgunned
Yes,
in most cases.
right.
Just do what you can.
Exactly.
Right. So they get a report of a triple homicide at the Peach Trees housing complex, which is this huge ass tower.
Oh, yeah.
Think of like the cookie cutter apartment complexes you see every so often, and
Right.
multiply them by like 200 stacked on top of each other.
They're big.
That's it. So each one of these is like a city on its own.
I think, if I'm not mistaken, they're like 200 floors tall.
Mm-hmm.
And like in each floor is like it's like a level.
Right.
But think of like the center being hollow that goes all the way down to like,
Right.
like a courtyard.
you
at the
put a
bottom.
tower in that thing and it's a panopticon immediately.
Yeah.
Built
So,
like a prison.
All these like every floor is like a ring, like almost like a square ring in a way of like 200 of those. So as you-
Square ring.
well, like, you know what I mean? Like
Yeah.
like I mean, like I said, the center is hollow, but
Right.
it's a square building. So
Yeah.
each is a ring. Each floor is a ring, but like kind of shaped like a square.
Right.
A scring, if you would.
A screen.
Yeah. You know where I was going.
Right.
Yeah, so anyways, in that big courtyard of that open area,
Right.
3 bodies have been hucked from one of the rings way up.
By the Mama Gang.
What was it, 50 floors up, they said?
I
or
want to say
something?
the 39th.
39th, yeah.
Yeah.
So, as you can imagine,
Mm-hmm.
the bodies are not,
Oh, yeah, no.
they're not good.
Right. They got paramedics on scene.
Yeah.
As the judges arrive to the screen crime scene. They make an assessment. Best estimate, you know. Anderson is able to deduce that this was an example, sort of a message to
Yeah.
whoever so crosses this gang that's currently housed in this complex.
Right.
Now, I don't know that the judges are privy to this particular gang. Right? It seems like they're new, like up and coming.
Mm-hmm.
But they got a new drug out on the streets too.
Yep.
As we saw with the van chase earlier, they got slow-mo.
There's like the quote unquote paramedic on the scene is like the medical guy who is like, I guess he's like one of the head medical guys over this
Yeah,
whole
he's been
mega
in
city.
this complex for a while, so he's got the down low.
Yeah. So anyways, he's kind of like, he's our guy on the ground. He's kind of giving us like they used to have like 5 or 6 gangs in here, and then one gang kind of took over the rest of them.
Right, showed up and cleaned everybody else out.
Yep. And kind of
So
worked.
now this entire place belongs to them.
Right. It kind of worked from the top down. They had the upper floors, and then they started just like, taking over all the rest.
Mm-hmm.
So anyways,
I still like the one gang that had tattoos of their faces,
The
just
judge.
like
Yeah.
the judges.
the judged, and they had like the tattoos of the
Yeah.
helmet all across their face, which that's a bit of a bold step.
Yeah.
It's like, man, if you guys just want to do that, just go join them.
Well, I don't think they can. They're,
Or no, it was like
they're judged.
mocking.
Oh,
Yeah,
I
yeah,
see.
yeah. That's interesting.
Also, not to mention on the way down to the first floor for the 39th, they had the slow-mo in their system.
Mm-hmm.
Oh,
They're
yeah.
also
So-
skinned alive.
That's crazy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So feels like an eternity on the way down for
Yeah.
you.
And then I think we get a backstory as to kind of like our main antagonist,
Right.
the mama or
Madeline Madrigal,
Yeah.
I think was her name.
Yeah.
So, yeah. Used to be a
which I think is a cool. I may say it's a kind of a cool naming convention.
badass abbreviation
It's
for
like
a
because
gang leader.
because her name starts with M. Her first and last name start with MAMA. So, Mama.
Yeah.
I just think that's cool.
Mm-hmm. So we get the down low on her. Used to be an avid participant in the red light district until she
Yes.
just plumb had enough.
Well, I think that I think she had enough, and then she got scarred.
Right.
Her face got scarred.
Mm-hmm. Oh yeah, rampant abuse.
Wasn't
and
that
they
what
just-
drove her over the edge?
Probably.
I think so.
If not
Yeah.
everything else.
Yeah.
But they describe her her inciting incident as feminizing
Yes.
the dude she was servicing.
Yeah. Which I think was like her pimp or whatever.
Right.
Yeah.
I think it was whoever she was kind of working for in this kind of,
Right. Very unsavory profession.
exactly. Yeah, and the phrase he says was feminizing him with her teeth.
Yeah.
And I was like, "Yo, she bit his dick off."
Oh, yeah.
And I was like, "Oh shit!"
Yeah.
I was like, "Damn!" First of all, that's hard enough as it is.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
But then to put it into words like that, I was like,
Yeah.
"That's a low blow."
Mm-hmm.
No pun
The
intended.
lowest.
Yeah.
So, as you can imagine, every scene we see her in, she's surrounded by nothing but like the hardest motherfuckers you can find on the streets.
yeah.
Which is hilarious to me because I can only imagine the thought process. Like, I ain't getting my dick.
No,
bit off.
dude.
No, thank you.
No.
Kind of staying in the bitch's good graces.
And that's even hard to do.
Oh
Yeah.
yeah.
Oh,
She
well-
rules with an iron fist.
Well, because I think it's also like the fact that like you said, whenever she kind of had enough and snapped, like I think she has a thrill in
Hurting people, I guess.
yes.
Oh, yeah.
Is that masochistic? Is that what
Or,
it is? Sadist.
Or just psychological torture with that one guy.
yeah,
Well, anyway, there's
she gets her kicks
yes
for sure.
yeah.
Ruling by fear alone.
Yep.
And man, I forget the actress's name, but she
Oh
fucking
yes.
sells it.
She plays Cersei Lannister.
Oh right.
Yeah. Lena Headey
Mm-hmm.
is her name. She is a great actress and does a great job
In phenomenal.
phenomenal job as like a drugged out
Bad bitch.
mob boss, bad bitch.
Right.
Yeah, she always plays a bad bitch. I will say, and does a great job.
Except she's a worse bitch in this one. Like, Jesus.
Yeah, and I think it does a. I mean, the character is so. You love to hate her in that way, which I hate to say that, but it's like the actress does a great job.
Oh yeah.
A lot of the actors in this film does a great job with that. So but yeah. So anyways, so they start snooping around. The judges do,
Right.
and of course, like we're getting this back and forth between Dredd and Anderson, kind of this like buddy cop sort. I don't say buddy cop, but like it is a because it's not
cop
that.
and the other cop.
Yeah. I love the relationship between them that forms where like because it's so subtle, but it also like I think that Judge Anderson is a great character.
Oh yeah, definitely.
At first I thought she was going to be just kind of like a little side character that was like not
right.
It just kind of was gonna be a liability more than how do I say this? I thought she was gonna be more the
way
liability
less capable.
Yes.
Yeah.
But there was moments that like that proved the fact that she is still green and is like a cadet, but she still delivers where it counts.
Oh yeah, the odds are insanely stacked against them. We've got two judges in one complex up against an entire gang.
Yes,
on their own.
Because shortly after this whole thing takes place, and Mama finds out that there's two judges, snooping around inside her place, she's able to get her like tech lackey, which I forgot what his character name was.
No idea.
Yeah, I can't.
Oh,
remember.
his name was just Clan Techie.
Oh, okay. Well, that's probably
the
why.
alien.
So the techie guy, is able to like
Activate war mode
Yes,
for this building's defenses, which are straight up blast shields and lockdowns throughout the entire building.
So like I said before, the fact that like this big tower has like an opening, these like slanted doors at the top, like blast doors close up. So now like the
Turns into
entire
a fortress.
Exactly. All the windows on the exterior, all the doors that enter into the complex, the roof, everything closes down. So now
Airtight.
there is nothing getting in, nothing getting out.
Yeah.
And I think he called it DEFCON mode.
They have whenever he's on like the dispatch for
Yeah.
the entire like city, he just notifies them of a DEFCON test.
Okay. I see.
I want to say the actual term for this type of lockdown was war something.
Okay.
But I was like, what the fuck kind of
Yeah.
conflict are they expecting with
I
these
mean,
kind of defenses
Hey.
for a civilian housing?
Yeah.
It's insane.
Nukes, maybe?
Who knows?
I mean, for the amount of weaponry they had inside that building,
Oh, yeah.
I mean, I wouldn't doubt
Wouldn't
that, like,
surprise me.
that, that you wouldn't just quarantine that place like that.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, that's true, too.
If it's that overran and that rampant,
Oh, yeah.
just lock that bitch down and figure it out.
Yeah.
So anyways, so as they start to, they're getting closed up around them, and this is where like the real second act of this film kicks in. It's like when everything locks down, you're like, okay, so like now we're like,
Right. This is after they've apprehended one of the goons,
yes,
and she is able to identify him with her psychic powers as
Yeah.
one of the prime suspects who was responsible for this triple homicide.
right,
So he's their one, like,
yeah,
clue to the top.
yep,
So as they're about to leave, that's when the lockdown takes place, and
Yep.
then the entire building,
oh yeah, because mom was
every
like, I
gang
want,
member is after them.
yep. And it's crazy, dude. But this is what I'm talking about. Of like, this is where like we're done with the setup. We're done with the character introductions. Now now it's action mode, and it's it's so good.
Oh yeah,
Because this movie doesn't, like we said, doesn't pull any punches. And from this moment forward, it's, I was going to say good, clean fun, but it's definitely not clean. It is scary.
judgment time.
Judgment time, dude. I also love that there were a couple of really good one-liners in this film.
Oh yeah,
It made me happy. As a person who has like over the course of this podcast specifically fallen in love with action films,
oh yeah,
especially like the classic action films. The first movie this podcast ever watched that we ever did an episode on was The Terminator.
oh yeah,
So like
quintessential.
So I feel like action movies in this vein
bread and butter.
are the core of this show, special to me in a unique way.
Oh yeah,
So whenever there's a couple of one-liners and like some crazy violence, I'm like, ooh, man,
absolute cinema.
This is peak. So yeah.
Or like, freeze. Why would I do that?
No,
I love that. He just a couple of kids pull up on him with some
Yeah.
guns, and they're like, "Freeze!" And he just turns around and is like, "Why?"
as a police officer, that would be a very real thing.
I don't know
Oh,
if you
yeah.
heard me at the time, but I said, excuse me with that.
Right.
Because I'd have been like, do you know who you're talking to?
Yeah.
Yeah, there's just a couple of dumb kids.
Yeah. But like I said, there's a couple of really interesting, like unique moments for Anderson and the little bits of character growth that take place. I love the fact that like there's that moment when they're in that kind of corridor area and they're like titting against the two, and all of them are all shot up except for that one guy, and he's kind of reaching for his gun.
Yeah.
And then she like hesitates for a second. She like has already like shot other dudes, but now it's like face to face. He's looking at her.
Yeah.
He's wounded, and she's
Begging.
like, right.
I'm
Please.
screaming for her to shoot him.
Oh, right. And so, and then obviously this is her assessment. So like, Dredd's just watching,
Right.
and there's this.
Attempted homicide of a judge that's punishable by death.
Yep.
So
And exactly, and he's
carries
just,
out the
and he's like,
sentence.
I know, and she just kind of sits there for a second longer, and I love this. I love this because this is one of those great show don't tell moments. I think where like you get a good look at his face.
Yep.
You get a really good look at what's happening. You feel what's going on. She makes the call. She ends up killing him right there.
Yep.
And she just is just a little bit shaken. And like I said, and this is why I thought she's gonna be more of a liability. Where I thought like, and sometimes in movies like this, these kind of characters, I feel like sometimes kind of really ruin the situation.
Oh yeah.
Sometimes the character choice is adequate for like the character being portrayed.
Right.
But for her, I was like, I feel like she may be new to this, but she doesn't seem like she's a pushover.
Right.
But I think I love that they made her human. And so I was nervous that like Judge Dredd was gonna have to like intervene, but I love it that he didn't. There's
Right.
so many times where like he was like, "What's your call?" And then she's like, "This is what it is," and he's like, "All right."
I'm not here to hold your hand.
Exactly, and I love that. So, anyways, she ends up killing that dude, and there's just this little bit of like, "Oh shit, what did I just do?" It doesn't hesitate. They keep on moving.
Oh, yeah.
They keep on trucking, but
Right.
you get this little bit behind her eyes of like, "Oh man, this is." this is tough. And
Yeah.
this is the real deal.
Yep.
Our lives are on the line, and we're locked in this place. And it just everything felt real, and I love that. So yeah,
Good stuff.
good stuff. The reason why I was saying it was a show don't tell type moment is because later on in the hallways, she's able to use her psychic abilities to like
Read the mind of one of the tenants.
and she says her name. I forgot.
Yeah,
She's like,
Catherine.
Catherine's like, Catherine, open the door. And I was like, damn, that would be. She's like, what? Huh? Who? And opens the door, and they immediately bust in there
Right.
because again, there's a crowd of like gang members.
4 goons approaching.
Right.
They still got the fucking hostage.
Yeah, exactly.
The prime suspect.
But anyways, Dredd is like, go ahead and apprehend, like put her in lock her in a room so that way she
won't
doesn't.
sound any alarms.
Exactly. And he's like, and she says, I can't do that because she's got a baby. Like,
Right.
and we
in
can't.
the next room sleeping.
And we don't know how long it's going to be before we can come back here and let her out. Like, that's not fair.
Yeah.
And then, of course, she gets this glimpse over at a picture frame, and it's the dude that she just killed. And then it's just this very real moment where, like, she tries to be, I don't want to say empathetic, but, like, she tries to be a little bit caring and says, like, thank you and all that kind of stuff. And the lady's like, I just don't want you in here. Like,
Yeah, I don't want to see you again.
Right.
Just leave.
my husband's out there somewhere on this floor.
Don't worry, you won't see him again either.
Jesus.
So anyways, but like I said, it's just these little bits of like, ooh, the realness is kicking in for her. So anyways, it's a tough job.
Yeah.
Were you going to ask something?
Well, yeah, I was going to see
Okay.
Chase speak.
Was this your first time? This your first time watching this movie?
Yeah, I've seen some like snippets here and there on YouTube, but
Yeah.
for the most part, I haven't really seen any of it.
Yeah.
What did you feel about it?
Oh, it was great.
Yeah.
I definitely.
A man of few words.
Right.
But they mean something.
Of course. Did you have a favorite part, Chase?
Yes, actually,
Okay.
I like the part where he shot the white phosphorus, essentially.
Oh, yeah.
Mhm.
The
Yeah.
incendiary round.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, dude. Crazy.
Covered a wide area.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, the ammo settings for these things are
Bruh.
varied, to say the least.
I love it.
One for each occasion.
Oh, yeah.
That's one thing that the Helldiver's pistol does not have.
I was
Yeah.
about to say, what
You
if
have
they introduced that?
That'd be fun, but it's just a lock-on pistol, which I think is
Yeah.
still fun.
Oh, yeah.
But anyways, you were gonna say something, or I thought
You look like you have a question for me, Dylan.
Speak, boy! You're on a fucking podcast!
I'd say favorite movies all time. I'd probably put this about 4.
Really?
really.
Yeah.
Damn.
First
It's
two
still pretty
Sicarios.
Sicario,
Ooh,
yeah, you
yeah.
like Sicario.
Oh, yeah.
tough to beat.
I can't think of the other movie. The Departed.
Okay.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, that one's
Been
really good.
forever since we watched that.
Yeah. And then this probably be 4th.
Dang. Okay.
Probably
High
no
praise.
in any particular order, just, in general.
Right.
Yeah.
It's on the list now.
Yeah.
That's good to hear.
Sweet.
I did. I there were so many great. I can't even. There were so many. Great graphic scenes.
Mhm.
I know that sounds weird for me to say,
Right.
but it's like I've seen like gore and stuff done. I think poorly in other films.
Yeah.
Whether it was intentionally or not. But this one has like some really like gut wrenching
Oh, yeah.
moments that are like ooh, and like from that kind of that's what I want to feel.
Right.
Whenever I'm like look at it, whenever someone pistol whips your throat and you can like see the indentation of
Yeah.
where like
The crushed windpipe.
Yeah, it's like that's the kind of shit that's like ugh.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But and that's what I'm talking about. Is I don't want to be like, I don't want some crazy graphic like
Right. Doesn't linger on anything for too long.
Yeah, it feels quick, it feels effective, and it's like ugh.
Yeah, you see what happens, you see the effect, and then it moves on.
Yeah,
Right.
because some things get like too much.
Yeah, definitely.
Some movies do a little too much.
Yeah.
Where they kind
Gore
of
for the sake of it.
they glorify it a little bit.
Yeah.
Where it's a little bit too, and I don't. That's not for me.
Like now you guys are going too far.
Yeah, now it's. But I think that for some of the scenes here, it's very tasteful.
Yeah.
In the setting of this film, I wouldn't say
Yeah,
it's tasteful in other.
I don't want to taste it.
I don't know about that.
Yeah, a bit more chunks than I would
Yeah.
care to have.
I mean,
Yeah.
they probably had fresh meat from those other guys. since they skinned him.
Oh God, yeah, that's another thing. In anytime there is a dead body on a scene, they call it in for recyc.
Yeah.
Come get the meat wagon.
Right,
The meat wagon.
meat wagon heading your way.
Oh, man.
I'm not privy to the details of how you would recycle a body, but I don't think I want to know.
Sloppy Joe.
Unless we're in the 40K universe. And it's corpse starch.
Oh God,
It gets turned into food.
Soylent Green.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's people.
Right.
Yum
No
yum.
thanks.
There, for this being 2012.
That's when it came out?
Yeah.
Mhm.
Okay.
This, I mean, I don't know if the actual set, I don't know what the setting is for this.
2025.
That'd be fun.
Happens this year.
Yeah.
Hey
I
guys,
can't
they're
find-
introducing the judge program.
Like, oh, good.
Oh, great. you know,
That's
for
awesome.
I would be signing up.
I think it's going downhill.
Yeah.
So, I thought that the special effects were really nice.
Oh yeah.
There
It
was
looks
a,
fantastic.
There was a couple of scenes that were they're a little bit wonky in my
Mhm.
personal opinion, but I didn't think that anything was outright bad.
Right. The slow-mo shots look pretty fucking good.
Yes, there's a couple of scenes that I think were again not my favorite,
Mhm.
but like for the amount of gunfire and bullets into people
Oh yeah.
and like the like we said before, it's visceral.
Mm-hmm. We got shots going through heads.
Oh,
guts,
yeah.
jaws,
Crazy.
faces.
Yeah.
Actually, I just thought about it. Another scene I really liked is, whenever the other judge is walking up to him
Mhm.
and he just, what was it, explosive round?
Yeah, high explosive.
And it just
They got two
blows his head off.
right dirty judges
Yeah.
who have been paid off by the gang or are going to be paid off
Right.
in order to kill Dredd.
Mm-hmm.
Two of them have him cornered in where they were making the slow-mo.
Yeah.
And as he's having an exchange with one of them talking about the price of the law and what it's worth nowadays, one of them who has this big-ass fuck-off either rifle or shotgun,
Yeah.
I can't tell which, he's
Maybe it's both.
about to
I
get
think it's a
beat
shotgun
on.
because the way it fires.
Yeah.
it sounds
It
like a
definitely
shotgun.
looks like one.
Yeah.
But he's going through the different ammo types because he's low on pretty much everything.
Yeah.
But as soon as he says high explosive, he's in the clear.
Cha-ching.
He turns the corner, straight up fires the round through this guy's head, and it is
Yeah.
paste
Crazy.
on the ground.
Yeah. It's it's visceral.
His partner sees that and is like, motherfucker. And then he just fucking, the shootout continues.
More
Yeah.
money for me.
Right.
Yeah. I also there's something so badass about like the dirty cops walking in there and before they even they four of them walk in guns in hand to talk to mama
Mhm.
and before they even say anything he says $1 million and she's
Yeah.
like there's no way and he's like I don't think you know who we're dealing with.
Right.
I do.
$1 million.
$1 million. And
like,
she's like
fine.
okay.
Yeah.
There's something
Dredd is
dude,
infamous.
there's something about like the clout of being able to just like walk around, of like having the people that know who you are and
Oh,
be
yeah.
like, there's no way.
Yeah, no.
I'm not gonna.
It's $1 million or
the
nothing. I'm
four
going
of
to
us
shoot you right now.
versus him for any less than $1 million is not worth it.
Yeah.
And I'm like, that's
Mhm.
pretty badass. that's
It's insane.
That's a
Ugh.
reputation right there,
Mm-hmm.
and I love that.
I also loved the, calm down, rookie. I'm on your side.
Yeah.
Shoots her immediately.
She,
Right.
like-
trying to convince the fucking psychic.
Yes, the one of the other female dirty cops we're talking about. She has there's a moment where she says, "If I see her before she sees me, I'll shoot
first.
her." Yes,
She sees me. She hesitates. I still shoot first.
yes.
It's like that
That's-
may have worked.
That is a
at
good
one
idea.
point.
That is that's a good idea, and that's what exactly
You've
what
got an
happens.
advantage
They meet-
that you think you do.
By the way, we'll have to backtrack a little bit before this scene.
Mm.
This is the rookie walks out there, Anderson, and of course hesitates for good reason.
Right, split second.
Yeah.
Just throws out
She's
a quick
like,
mind
hey,
read. It's like, oh,
I'm your 1024. I'm your reinforcements. And then instantly she like reads her mind and realizes that that's not the case.
like,
and
oh, no, you're not.
just unloads on her.
Yeah.
That was like the funny thing is,
Done.
it's exactly what happens. They meet. Anderson hesitates and then of course reads her mind and then immediately unloads.
Yeah.
And I was like, oh, this
like,
is
I'm your
so
reinforcements. Oh, okay,
great.
hang on. Let me check. Let me just verify.
To back up, to back up,
Mm-hmm.
our perp that we have,
Right.
I think his name is K.
Mm-hmm.
K is the guy that they are dragging around because this is kind of their like linchpin to figure out what really is all going to happen in this grand scheme of things. And this is after she has. There's a moment when they're in like a school classroom, and the
Judge starts putting him to the
because
pins.
what happens is Mama ends up like loading up like 4 miniguns.
Oh, yeah.
And ends up like almost leveling an entire block they have locked off.
Yeah.
And so at this point, this is where and have killed dozens of innocent just to try and kill both the judges.
Mm-hmm.
So there's a moment where they get Kay into a room, and he instantly throws him over a desk and is like, "What the hell is happening?"
Beating the shit out of him.
How do you you think that that's overkill?
Right.
The fact you're killing so many people, so he's like getting pissed off at this guy because he's like, you better start talking right now.
Right.
Like, why the hell is she willing to go to that limit to silence me and you?
What could have been worth all those lives?
Yeah. And so he's like beating the shit out of him and it's like choking him, like literally almost choking him out.
Right. And then Anderson's like, whoa. Hey, hang on.
Yeah. Hey,
all right, that's enough.
Judge. And of course, dude, I love it because she's like, she says, Judge, like, hey. And then of course, all he does, he has his back turned to her. So all he does is like turn his head with like his,
Right.
with like
The
his
scowl.
his super frown. He just doesn't even say anything, turns his head and just looks at her with this scowl.
If
And
you
then-
let me at him, he won't have to talk.
Exactly. And then all he does is let her go. And then I could just feel the rage off of him.
Oh,
He
yeah.
just like walks away into the corner. He's just like,
Yeah.
and of course she just like, he falls on his knees and there's this beautiful scene where,
Right. He goes from physical assault to mental assault.
oh man,
Oh, yeah. The best of both worlds.
she ends up getting inside his head and is like, it's kind of empty in here.
Right.
Then they have this whole kind of like weird back and forth where like he's trying to get into her head, but she's like, that ain't how this works.
Right.
We get a callback to Mama eating his dick off,
Right.
which is
Yeah.
crazy.
Makes him experience that shit.
Yeah, exactly. Which it wasn't fun.
Mm-hmm. She busts out every trick in the book
Bruh,
on this
and
poor bastard.
digs into his head, and then of course I love what happens immediately after that. It smash cuts to like kind of where Judge Dredd's perspective is. So you just like see Judge Anderson standing there over his body as his head is slumped down.
Yeah.
As he's gone through it, and she's like, I figured it out, and he's
Right.
pissing himself.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I was
Jesus.
like, oh my God. And she's like, she knows the whole thing. She knows all of it.
Yep.
She's like, Mama is the one who is like fabricating and making all the slow-mo that's in Mega City.
Oh, yeah.
Or Mega City 1. And
The
he's
other,
like, oh, hell no.
The other thing I loved was him coming out of the smoke after they fired the miniguns,
Oh,
throwing her right hand man down the
Dude,
stair or
you're
down the
right.
balcony, looking at her and then just going back into the smoke and disappearing.
There's like a right hand lackey that Mama has, and as they lift up the gates, there's no way he survived. And of course, the right hand guy is like, Mama is across the way on the other side of this ring, and that she's like loaded up the other side with minigun rounds with her boys.
Oh, yeah.
So her right hand man's walking through there, and of course is telling the other lackeys like,
He's not dead until we find him or part of him.
exactly. And then so because of how pissed off Judge Dredd is,
He
he's-
gets the drop on him, takes him out one by
Yeah.
one, and then makes an example of the last
Yeah,
fucker.
which is like her right hand dude
Yeah.
walks over to the edge of the balcony, looks at her dead in the eye, and just pushes him off of it, and then just turns around and walks away into the smoke, like Chase was saying.
And he's gone again.
So badass.
Yeah.
I'm like, come on, dude. How cool is that?
Oh, yeah.
Didn't even say a word, and of course she's seething at this point.
Yeah.
Because she's like, how
Cannot
the
be
hell
stopped.
are you alive?
Oh, my favorite one-liner probably was just wait.
Oh, yeah.
yeah. We're getting there. We're getting there.
Yeah.
But so they end up taking Anderson hostage at a certain point.
Right
And
after those two kids
yeah,
put a stopper on him for a
Yes.
split second.
yes. But so this is before that of that scene that we're talking about with the other dirty cop, how they meet and she ends up gunning him down. There's the scene where she is the other dirty cops have basically told the
ones downstairs,
the gang members. They're basically said like, hey, if you have the rookie, like make her dead.
That's right.
Make her not alive anymore. And so Mama ends up giving that responsibility to Kay, the guy who's has been kind of
who they've been dragging around the entire complex for the past like 2 hours.
And this is another, and this no pun intended. This is a Chekhov's gun moment.
Yeah.
Where they establish
Yeah.
something early in the movie, and the callback happens later, and the payoff is so good. I didn't expect this, but early in the movie, whenever Judge Dredd is getting like suited up, and it's kind of like his monologue about like the city and all that stuff, he picks up his gun, and it says like it's like an ID is required, and so like as he's holding it, it says ID's approved, and of course it says I think it says like welcome, or it has like an ammunition count or something on it. So like, and it's just a little subtle thing where it's like, okay, so we got smart.
We got
guns here.
ID tagged weapons.
Yeah, we got ID tagged
carried
weapons.
by ID tagged
before
soldiers.
before you go any
weapon to
further,
surpass Metal Gear.
could you just imagine if the ID tag was just slightly off and it said fingerprint not recognized?
Oh,
like on your phone?
Well, that's probably a fail safe. It's like it's not recognized, but it's like, hey, try
Got
again.
enough info to verify that it is you.
Yeah, exactly. So again, this is the callback later as we're approaching the end. Our Judge Anderson is is in handcuffs, and of course, Kay is given this like he's like, ooh, I always wanted one of these, holding the smart pistol, and he's like,
He's got
shit.
a point with wanting one.
I mean, I don't blame him.
Shit, I would too.
But also, it really shows his ignorance with what he doesn't know about it, which I wouldn't be surprised that regular civilians don't know anything about these weapons.
Yeah.
Unless you are like a former judge, you're not going to know how to work this thing.
Exactly. So he's like flaunting it around. He's like, "Ooh, I always wanted one." He's looking at it, and he's like talking all big. And of course, Anderson's not saying shit.
Oh yeah. So of course he's like, "You got any last words, bitch?" Yep. And she's like, "That's funny. I was just about to ask you the same thing, bitch."
Yeah. And he's like, "What?"
Right. He points the gun at her, and it says, "ID not recognized," and then it fucking explodes in his hand.
It explodes half of his forearm.
Right. He does not have a hand anymore.
The actor did such a great job.
Oh yeah, complete shock.
Shock can't even begin. He like falls to his knees, and like you only barely get to see his stump out of frame, and he's just like,
Yeah.
and the thing is like whenever his arm explodes, like it splatters across the wall.
Oh,
So
yeah.
you get a good look at what's going on, and she's like, bitch.
Yeah.
After,
she gets up and then fucking roundhouse kicks his ass.
yeah, his head.
Yeah.
Tweaking his neck and killing him, I'm assuming. If not that, the shock definitely
He's straight
did.
up gonna bleed out there.
Doesn't
for
matter.
sure.
Yeah. And I was like, ooh, the comeuppance is real good.
The
That's some
funny
good
thing
shit.
about that was, I remember right before he did that, I said, that's not going to work because the ID sensor. And then immediately after that, it exploded. And I was like, okay, what? Wouldn't expected that.
Yeah, and me either. I even said out loud, I was like, "Did the gun explode?" At first, I thought it shot backwards or something.
I thought
but
it
then,
did too.
But then, whenever he went down to his knees and I saw his stump of an arm, I was wow, okay, yeah,
It's
that's
like an extra large firecracker just went off in your
there
hand.
you go. That's wild. So, anyways, but yeah, as you were saying, Chase, your favorite part was whenever he said, "Wait." There's this moment, like they're saying the gunfight in the slow mo lab.
Yeah, after Judge gets shot, the other guy starts walking up to him, says, hey, just wait a second.
Yeah,
Starts
Just holds his hand up.
he's like, "Wait."
It's like,
He starts monologuing, going, the great Judge Dredd on the other side of the gun says, what?
Yeah.
yeah.
He
Or
says,
wait.
Yeah, he says, "Wait."
Mhm.
He's like, "I'm sad." Or
Yeah.
he's like, "I'm
He's like,
disappointed."
He's like,
Wait for what?
Oh, so
Yeah.
you're just a coward
Yeah.
this
he's
whole time?
he's a bit baffled. He's like, "Wait for what? A few more seconds of
He
life."
cannot
Oh,
believe
wait.
what he's hearing.
Yeah.
And then gets shot in the back
Yeah.
by Judge's partner.
Mm-hmm.
He falls down. He's like, "Nah, wait for her to shoot you." Dude, and then I love the fact he has like a med kit with like this, this like pink goo that he pours into his wound.
The
and like
biofoam,
dude. And Chase and I were like giving all of the Helldivers one-liners.
Right.
But we were like,
injury? What injury?
And Chase goes, a little shot of liver. I was like, dude, that's so good.
Helldivers never die.
Yeah.
Right.
Or I guess judges never die.
Yeah,
in this
there you
sense.
go.
Yeah.
Man, it was so good. And the fact that I love the fact that it was also
Judges eat that shit.
Correct. I also I love like the
staples whenever they
close. No, the stitches
auto
like
sutures.
cinch up. I love the attention, like the fact that it was armor piercing. So like the bullet went all the way through.
Oh yeah.
So that like
straight up puncture.
Yeah, like the little touch of
liberty.
Little touch of liberty. Like the fact that like it was there wasn't like a bullet inside of him or something.
Oh
yeah, like he had
it's just clean.
He could just
anything.
Exactly.
He's just not even a pound lighter.
Yeah. And even the same thing whenever later on during the final fight scene that there's a couple of strays from Mama's goons.
Right.
Now that I think about it,
Anderson gets hit in the same, like in a different spot, but it also kind of goes through her, I think.
I was about to say the same thing. He got shot in that place. She got shot.
like the
Mama
opposite
got shot in the same place.
Yeah, big fan of gut shots.
Yeah. I think he was a little higher up.
Maybe.
I think he was more in like the like mid up, but she was like almost like the lower abdomen.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's crazy.
Everybody gets their fair share of scars.
Yeah, exactly. But I think they did that obviously for the fact that like I could be wrong. I think you could realistically survive.
Yeah, for a while.
Especially with the kind of like aid kits that they have on them.
Exactly. I think if you get like upper torso, you can probably survive mostly. Lower torso, maybe depending on where you're probably okay. You could probably graze an organ or something. But the problem is like if you get the center mass is like when you start to like,
it gets a little deadly.
If you got shot through the lung, like that'd be a little hard to recover from.
Right.
Yeah. It nicked your heart, but you're
Might
fine.
Find yourself short of breath.
Exactly.
Just get the biofilm from ODST. There you go.
Right. That shit works wonders.
Yeah.
For a little bit.
Right.
No, he was up and perfectly normal after that.
For a little while.
Yeah.
Still had a limp. By the end of the game, he's like almost incapacitated. They have to get him off the gun and start treating him proper.
Yeah. Get this man some real medicine.
Yeah, for real.
just get him some more biofilm. He'll be fine.
The tape's starting to peel off.
This Band-Aid is not fixing this bullet wound.
He's still bleeding.
Yeah.
What do you mean you can't breathe? Your chest is open. You should be getting more air.
To fix you up.
You should have more air. I don't understand.
Right.
Oh, man.
Breathe in deeper.
Yeah. Sir, there's fluid in my lungs.
Right.
Yeah. So at this point, as Mama's, at her. And dude, the clan techie.
Oh yeah.
I actually kind of like the fact.
Fucker.
I like the fact that he kind of got out. There's a scene where you get to see like, I guess he must be like an intelligent guy, or like he must have
smart enough to be able to hack in and override these systems.
Mama has forcibly removed his eyes and replaced them with these tech eyes, where like they have like almost like apertures, like a camera, like they're actually like animatronic eyes. And the poor guy has like I thought he was just drugged out, but like no, like it's like his eyes, like his eyelids, and like all around like this kind of like pink shade, as if they're like almost infected or something.
Right.
It's really sad. Like the more you watch his character, like he's not actually
He's not doing this because he wants to.
He's not actually a bad guy.
Yeah.
He's just with the bad guys.
Right. At their mercy.
Yeah, exactly. And then
or lack thereof.
The moment that they break in, both of the judges break in at this point, and they're trying to figure out where Mama is.
Right.
This guy's obviously hiding behind, a bunch of computers and shit. He's just hiding in a cabinet somewhere.
Doesn't want to die.
The Judge Dredd pulls him out, and he's like,
screaming bloody murder, begging for his life.
Yeah, he's like, he's trying to, like you said, trying to beg for his life. And, it's obviously, Judge Dredd thinks that he's one of the perpetrators.
Right, just another one of their lackeys.
Exactly.
But as soon as Anderson gets a hold of him, she reads his mind, gets practically his entire backstory.
His life flashes before her eyes.
Right.
And she's like, hey,
says,
yo.
okay, this man is clearly a victim in all this.
Yeah.
She steps away and is like, get out of here. And of course, Judge Dredd is like, "What the hell are you doing?"
That you want to explain why the fuck you just did that?
Yeah,
she's like,
I judged him.
And this is what I'm talking about. This is like the full cycle character development where she's like, because she's right. At one point in time, he says, if you ever lose your firearm to a perpetrator, like that's
an instant fail.
That's an instant fail as well. And she's like, I already failed by losing my firearm back there.
Why stop there?
But also, like I was able to get the code that I need and saw that he's actually just an
accomplice or not, he's still
exactly.
taken advantage of.
And on this mission, I still have authority to
dispense justice.
Yeah, and I did that, and I was like, "Oh, come on, girl! I love that."
Yeah,
I was like, It felt full circle. I was like, "You're one of us now."
Yeah, you got the right stuff, kid.
That's how you got the right stuff, kid.
It kind of felt like one of the. You ever had a coworker you've been training? On like first day, and you start immediately clicking with them.
Mm-hmm. Oh yeah,
yeah. That's kind of what it would feel like if they made a second one.
Yeah. But in that moment, that's when they go to, she gets the code to the secret base because again in his
mama's fresh out of kids.
In the techie's frantic state, he's like, she's behind like a 10-foot, a 10-inch steel door. There's like you have to have the code, and I give you the code. Mm-hmm. So he's like, again, he's an innocent guy.
Oh yeah.
Anyways, they end up opening the code to the door, getting in there, and there's a whole firefight, but not before Mama affixes this weird device to her forearm. And at first, I was like, I don't know what the hell this is. Right.
Some sort of gadget doohickey.
Gizmo,
that
if you will.
Evidently give her the upper hand because she's just got her hands on the rails, just waiting for these fuckers to come in. And of course, he signals her last two goons to
sacrifice themselves.
Yeah, pretty much.
So you know what I thought happened whenever she did that?
What?
I thought that device put the slow-mo just all over the room. And I thought that affected them for a second. I was about to go, oh, that's not good.
Right.
Yeah.
Instead of the drug slow-mo, we just get the cinematography slow-mo.
Yes.
Yeah,
for this final shootout.
I thought they just pumped it into the full room, and I thought that's what happened when Anderson went down.
In the ventilation.
Right. Yeah.
So thankfully, that is not what happened. However, Anderson does get grazed, and she is incapacitated. So, Dredd has her at gunpoint. She explains what this gadget is.
Doohickey. Yeah.
Aha, you can't kill me.
Right.
You think you can't kill me?
This little baby's hooked up to my heartbeat.
Yep.
Linked to a transmitter for a shit ton of explosives, enough to level the
top 50 floors.
Yeah. So,
what if you just said, I think you're bluffing and shot her?
That's basically what he did.
Oh, well.
Yes.
I like the fact that, because it also feels very real, too. She's like, you don't stay in this business for as long as I do and know that there's not a potential, one of these days you're going to get caught.
Right.
Yeah.
So she's like, get busted regardless.
Right. So you don't think I got a backup plan. Like, the top of these 50 floors are going to be leveled with my explosives I got around here.
Yeah.
And, of course, the judge ain't flinching at all. His gun is trained on her, and it don't move.
Oh, yeah. So eventually... she says you can't take the risk, and then he fucking shoots her in the gut.
Oh yeah,
she's lying on a bed like bleeding out, and he's like, "How far do you think that transmitter is able to receive?"
Yeah,
100, 200 meters.
Yeah. He's like,
"Let's find out."
I think he even said something. He's like, the bottom is like a few floors underground.
Right.
So I think he's saying like, there's like, do you think it would work 10, 20 floors underground or whatever? And so he
just gets her by the neck.
Yeah.
We see Anderson's point of view, and we just see him like jostling her around and pushing her up against the window.
Yep.
You know where you can only see their legs with that?
Yeah.
What if it just stayed that shot and you just see her fall off the balcony?
That'd have been so funny. Oh, man. So he reads off the sentence to her.
Yes.
Lists her crimes. Doses her with some slow-mo.
Yep.
Giving her the same treatment she gave those three fuckers we saw at the beginning.
Yep.
What you saw.
Yeah. And what say you in your defense? And she just fucking huffs that shit.
Yep.
And he's like, defense noted, and then throws her out the fucking window.
And then pulls her back and then smashes her through the window.
Oh yeah.
And then but like with a palm face. Pushes her through the window, so as she's like falling backwards, the camera
looks like he's just like waving,
he's just waving.
Goodbye.
Like he's just like bye,
see you later,
loser.
Ugh.
Yeah,
Yeah.
And she ends up falling. And this is one of the couple shots like that the CGI, like the green screen's a bit noticeable in some of like the kind of like shots because it lingers for so long. I think the special effects does really well in this because it is pretty quick. The only other scene that I thought was kind of strange was whenever they were at the bottom floor and they were like, there's a scene of like the camera like shooting up through all the floors of this, big building. And I think the frame rate's different or something. So like it feels a bit skippy and it's a bit wonky. But like I said, there's only like these two scenes that are probably like a bit on the different side. But it's overshadowed by this
everything else.
By this beautiful moment of like, because of how the slow-mo works, the drug, not the cinematography thing, but both in this instance, she's like falling through slow-mo, but there's also like it makes lights like hyper brilliant, like almost like they're
everything's a bit more vibrant.
Yeah, like the luminescence on things is like cranked all the way up.
Bloom is in effect.
Yeah, bloom is in full effect here. Setting on max. So like all the shards of glass are like these like bright,
glinting.
Yeah, as she's like flowing through, and it's just this really interesting moment where like, we're still like, is it gonna blow up or what's up?
We follow her like all the way down to the bottom.
Yeah,
and she lands face first.
Yeah.
Like we see the impact.
Yes, the camera is like looking up through like a pane of glass. What it would look like. So as she's like in the scene, she's technically hitting the concrete ground at the bottom of the complex. But from our view, the camera is like shooting up through like a piece of glass as she's falling face first onto like the camera.
We get front row seats.
We get front row seats to her face splitting and like opening up, and it's just blood. And it's crazy. Yeah. Like again, a cherry on top to this like a gruesome film that is, again, it feels like justice.
Oh yeah.
Not to mention, that sucked with that drug running through her.
Oh yeah. Slow and painful is what I can imagine.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, anyways, and then of course
the lockdown is lifted.
Yeah. But not before like Judge Dredd looking down and going,
yeah.
Like holy shit, just walking away. I was like, dude, I love that. And then I'm a little bit confused by the very end here. I understand what's going on, but I don't understand the very end. I think I understand it, but I'm not quite sure. So bear with me. At the very end, Judge Dredd, like they're about to exit the door that's like rolling up as all the rest of the judges are coming in and like about to
you guys aren't corrupt too, are you?
Clean up the scene and. Judge Dredd's about to say something. We can imagine. I think the only thing he says is, "Your evaluation is complete." And before he can say anything else, Anderson takes off her badge, just gives it to him, and he walks off. And then walks away. And like, she tries to get, or like the paramedics are trying to treat her, and she keeps like just like pushing out the way, and just kind of like just keeps on, keeps on moving.
Man, we have to help you.
Right, exactly. And then of course the chief comes up and is like, "So how'd she do?" And he's like, "She passed." And I was like, hell yeah, buddy. I love that.
Damn straight.
I love the fact that he's like, again, talk about clout. I love this. She's like, when I heard that you called it 1024, I thought I had to come down here because I had to figure out what was going on. And I was like, I love that. The fact that you got like your top guy out here is like, I need backup.
Who the fuck?
Dredd needs backup? Oh, hell no, nah, dude. We're screwed. Going down. We're screwed.
Right.
I need
the end is fucking nigh.
I need everybody down at the peach trees ASAP.
Yeah.
And because I think she makes a comment too. She's like, when I heard you calling the 1024, I thought I had to come down here myself, especially since I stuck you with the rookie. And I was like, oh, dude, that's so. I love that.
Right.
But he's like, anyways. The part that kind of confused me though is, I thought that she like, I thought that she resigned. So he's like, she passed, and she was just like.
She's already made the conclusion herself that
exactly.
she failed,
and that's what. So I was with that.
And by technicality,
yes, but he still exactly.
We ain't letting that go.
Exactly. And so at the very end, there's like a scene where I can tell where she's walking out of like the station or whatever. She has her firearm, or I guess a new issue firearm, and her helmet.
Right.
So I'm like, okay, so she must not have resigned or quit. And then I think I see Dredd like walking up, like, you know, into, or I guess to meet her or whatever. And like, and then it just like cuts. And of course there's a little like monologue towards like the city and how, you know, whatever. Yeah. So I'm assuming that she stays with the Force.
Yeah, of course.
It just, again, it just from the implications at the very end of the scene, not only did I think that she failed, but I thought that like, even if she passed, I thought that she just was like, I can't handle this. Is what it felt like in that moment where I was like, I thought that she was like, because the doctors were like, let us help you. And she's like, get the frick out of here. I gotta get away from this scene.
Yeah.
And again,
just had to cool off.
Justifiable. I understand. So anyway, it was just a little bit for me. I don't want to say confused, but I was like a bit like, so did she quit or did she stay? Like,
could you imagine he comes up to you and you're like, look, I don't want to talk about it. I know I failed. He's like, look, just wait.
You passed. Shut up. You passed.
You passed. It's like, wait, what?
You start tomorrow.
Yeah.
It's like, look, you lost your gun, but I mean,
ain't no damn way he's letting her go after that.
These are odd circumstances.
Too freaking valuable.
Actions speak louder than words.
Prove yourself far and
especially,
far and beyond.
again, even though I like the fact that she stood up for herself with that clan techie guy. I think that was also the kind of the point where he was like, as he should, was questioning her authority, questioning her decision. But the fact that she like stood up for herself and was like, no, like I've read his mind. Not only do I have the code, but like this guy ain't. Right. This guy ain't one of the bad guys.
You can bend the rules a bit when you got a fucking psychic on
and
your
that's
side.
what, and I think at that point, for me at least, I think I couldn't really. I mean, obviously it's hard to tell, you know, because Judge Dredd is, you know, a permanent
Judge Dredd,
the perma Scowl, you know, which I think works for his character. But I think if we are to infer what's happening, I think that was the moment when, like, at least I think for the audience, that was when we're like, okay. She's very valuable. Not only can she get us in here to get like the main bad guy, but she can also tell when like. Maybe we need to stop. Maybe we don't need to kill everybody.
Yeah.
Maybe there are some people that are a little more innocent than we're giving them credit for. It's like maybe you are a lot more valuable than we're.
Maybe we don't need you put you in the.
You know what? Maybe you did pass.
Right.
Yes, you lost your firearm. Yes, that's an automatic fail. But you've also proved your value time and time again.
You've become an exception.
But to be fair, you also didn't technically lose it. Somebody else lost it for you.
Right.
But at the same time, again, she's also like, again, this is what I'm talking about. This is why I love her character specifically, because it's like it's not like for the entire movie she was incapable. And then all of a sudden was this like Mary Sue at the very end is like, I can do this. And it's like, oh, we'll make an exception just because you're psychic. Right. It wasn't that. It was like, that was kind of the cherry on top. Is like, she did handle herself well. She does know the rules from the very beginning.
A 3% deficit on her score didn't tend to make much of a difference.
You're right. You're right. And at the same time, was able to like execute a perpetrator when it mattered.
Yeah.
But was also, but like could hold her own and survive and make like there was a lot of things. Like I said, the pros were stacked in her favor.
Yeah,
throughout the whole thing.
The psychic ability just helped.
She's going to be one of the best fucking judges,
correct,
ever,
exactly,
because of that ability.
And I think that was that moment. That was the moment for me where I was like, "You made a decision. You stood by your decision, and you think it's the right decision, and you also have the ability to like read people's minds. So it's like."
You could not be in a better position right now.
You're great. You're a great fit. And I think that Judge Dredd felt that in that moment as well. Because at the very end, that's when he's like, she passed. Because she's got
that's
the stuff.
The next me.
She got the stuff.
There's no fucking way.
Yeah. You give her a few more weeks with me and she's going to be the baddest bitch around.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. Well, anyways, this was a great movie, dude. And I'm so glad we watched this.
Oh, yeah.
Now I am eager to watch Judge Dredd, the 1995 apparent Sylvester Stallone movie.
Oh man,
bruh, I hope it's even a fraction.
It's gonna be a fucking ride, dude.
I hope it's even a fraction as fun as this is.
Yeah.
So.
Oh man.
Well, you want to add anything else?
Nothing I can think of.
Okay.
Yeah. I think we covered all the bases.
I love it. Well, thank you for sticking around with us, Chase, and watching this movie with us.
Oh, yeah, it was fun.
Yeah, it's been a while since we had you on like a actual like movie episode, not just a conversation one.
I think the last movie we watched with you was The Good, the Bad, and the Ugly.
Oh my God, really?
How long?
I think so.
Wait, how long ago was that?
If you give me a few seconds, I can look it up. Yeah. Hold on.
It's been a minute.
Keep it up. Talk amongst yourselves while I look up.
Fill the dead air.
Yeah.
How about that Broken Arrow, huh?
Oh, it's so good. Dude. It's so fun, dude.
I still need to get my hands on that.
See, I put it on my wish list, and then like a few days later, I saw you had bought it, and I was like, I was thinking it was still in like early access, or you couldn't actually play it yet.
Yeah. It technically kind of, for a while it was. It
Oh,
was
I see.
a whole
I think
preload thing.
I got it was preloaded, but I think if you got like the deluxe version of it,
Mhm.
you could play it a few days earlier than if you just bought it out regularly.
I see.
And that was what I got.
See, I'm still going through the expedition though, so I'm trying not to buy anything at the moment.
It's
You got a
Expedition
couple things on
33.
your plate.
It's Expedition 33.
There's been
Okay.
33 of them.
I think we said this on the last episode that you were on.
Yeah.
You just say the expedition, and it's like that is just vague enough. We're like, what expedition?
What if I just
Right.
say Claire Obscure?
Well, you
That
can.
works too.
Yeah.
You can.
Yeah.
That's better, I think. If you were to say Claire Obscure the expedition, I think I'd even still. If you're just like, I was on the expedition, what to the
Iraq.
Antarctic? Whoa, hey, slow down, slow down. Not at the end of the. Okay, anyways, I'm getting distracted. Let's see. The good,
The bad.
the bad.
The Mugly.
You motherfucker.
Yeah. Could you want to guess when that episode released?
3 months ago?
No.
6 months ago?
Nope.
A year ago?
Literally, almost to the day, 1 year ago.
Damn.
Damn.
Yeah. It was. It released on June 14th,
Wow.
and this is releasing on June 20th. So it literally is a week.
Oh, that's funny.
Yeah. A week, a difference. So a
Hilarious.
year and 1 week, which is crazy to think about.
Where does the time go?
Where does the time go? That's the question,
God.
my man.
I can tell you, it goes to work.
Please.
Goes to fucking nothing.
And with that being said, let's round this out because
Yeah.
I don't want to get sad at the
Right,
end of this
right.
great episode. For all of you out there who've been listening to this show and have made it all the way to the end here, thank you so much. I really appreciate you listening. It means a lot. If you want to comment and talk to, I'm the one who usually reads the comments. You talk to me, and then of
Right.
course I relay the information to everyone else. You can hit us up on Spotify and on YouTube. YouTube is at Hindsight Studios. You can type that in the search bar, and you can find us there. And you just make sure that you rate the podcast on the platforms that you can. Like the videos, would appreciate it. Subscribe on whatever platform that you listen on. Let us know. Share us with a friend. I know you know somebody out there that would have a fun time listening to
Yeah.
three goobers talk about Dredd for an hour and 15 minutes. Yeah. And until next week, thank you so much for listening.
See ya.
Adios.
Bye-bye.